Hi everyone, and welcome to the Youth for Youth podcast series by the Mohanji Youth Club. I'm Anusha, and we have Mohanish here today, and we'll be hosting today's session. To share a little background on our work, the MYC Crisis Management was started a year ago with the intention to offer free disaster preparedness and awareness training to communities globally, focusing specially on children, teens, youth groups, and underprivileged communities. Our key areas of work includes natural disasters, man-made disasters, and mental health crisis during emergencies. We started this project and we wanted to cover it in a more holistic way that includes training, expression, and emotional resilience. So we developed a few key initiatives under this. The first being You Lead, which focuses on disaster preparedness training for educational institutions. Second is Stability and Survival Stories. It's a platform for young people to share their experiences of undergoing crisis and how they overcome it through creative art or any form of nonviolent expression. And the third being Mauna, it's a weekly meetup, both online or offline, that helps individuals come together, connect in silence, detox the mind, and respond with greater calm. While we usually speak about being prepared for crisis, today for a change we thought let's start with happiness. Gross national happiness, GNH as it is called, is a metric and the Bhutan government supports it. So we chose to talk about it today, and the theme for today is what if your country measured success by how happy its people are? And we have with us a very special guest, Miss Kuenzang Tshering Delkar, and she is a Bhutanese youth leader, vice president of the Bhutan Youth Summit, an aspiring doctor with experience facilitating UN and UNICEF programs like Child Protection Program on the elimination of violence against children. Welcome, Kuenzang.
Thank you so much, MYC, for giving me such an opportunity to speak. And I'm really grateful and glad to be working with you all. So, thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedules to talk with me today and for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you. Before we start this session with our guest, I'd like to add once again that all our sessions are free for youth globally. So please feel free to get your friends or anyone whom you may think who needs to be heard, speak or ask questions to our experts or simply listen. Without further ado, let's start with the discussion. Kinzang, many of us have never grown up officially prioritizing happiness. How was your experience like growing up in a place where happiness holds utmost value?
Growing up, I don't think I fully realized how privileged and how special I was growing up in Bhutan. But now, when I look back, I feel really grateful to have received free education and free healthcare because in most parts of the world, it is still a privilege. But in Bhutan, we have received it freely. So I think, growing up in such an environment helped me focus more on learning and more on being a good person rather than worrying about whether I could afford schooling or not and whether I could afford healthcare or not. And in Bhutan, we have a strong sense of community. Not only in Bhutan, everywhere you go, Bhutanese are always there for each other. We are a close knit community, I think. And in times of celebration and even in times of death and suffering, we're always there for each other. We're helping each other. And I think that fostered some skills in me, for communication and being there for each other. And in Bhutan, I wouldn't say, being an academic achiever is prioritized. Rather, we focus on being a good person. We have VE classes, value education classes, where, we are taught on skills, communication skills, skills which will help us become a better person. And overall, we are provided with the skills, and we are also provided with Driglam Namja classes. Driglam Namja means etiquette classes, where we are taught how to respect people, how to behave, how to act. So I think those all combined shaped and continues to shape me. And yeah, I feel really special and very privileged to have grown up in such an environment. So that's how I feel.
That's really interesting to know, Kinzang. I think you've mentioned about free education, free healthcare, and focus on the learning aspect. Also, you mentioned about having a strong sense of community, being there for each other. And I also got the opportunity to speak to one of your youth members. And what I've realized is there's a lot of care for the community, and you really focus on being there for each other. So let's talk about this community aspect. You've been a part of Bhutan Youth Summit yourself, and you're the vice president, which is incredible. Can you tell us how it feels like? What kind of what kind of things that you guys do, and how do people show up? What do you talk about, and what is the impact that your team has done overall?
Thank you so much for your question. So in Bhutan Youth Summit, it is actually a platform where youths from all over Bhutan, they get a chance to speak, they get a chance to pitch ideas. So when all of these people from different backgrounds are coming together to share their ideas, they don't remain as ideas. Rather, they become conversations, they become solutions to problems we have. So we are planning to recruit students, leaders, volunteers from all over Bhutan, and I don't know if it's possible this year, but in the coming years, we want to even reach to the most remote part of Bhutan to gather this youth so that they could reach their full potential. We're going to be talking about climate change, which is, I think, one of the most important topics right now, as the world is currently changing and evolving. So we are going to talk about that. We're going to enhance skills. Already they have confidence skills, but we are going to build on that. We are also going to help them reach their potential. So that is what we are going to do basically.
All right. So yeah, I think reiterating it again that people from different backgrounds come together, and you have a lot of conversations, discussions, and also focus more on the solutions aspect. Now, regarding because we've already spoken about how Bhutan focuses on happiness, we'd like to know more about the term gross national happiness. Can you explain it the way you would to a friend who has never heard about it before?
So, before I begin explaining what GNH is, I would firstly credit who founded GNH. It was our great fourth Tukelpo, Jimmy Singhewanchu. He founded GNH in the in the early 1970s. So, firstly, I'll give a brief history on GNH, and then I would give an analogy, an example. So, I want all of you to think of your country as a tree. GDP will only care about how many fruits you're producing. But GNH, on the other hand, it will care about the soil quality, how strong the roots are, whether you're receiving sufficient sunlight or not, whether you're receiving water, the water quality, the air quality. It will care about the whole well being of the tree itself. But GDP will only care about how much fruit you're producing. So on that basis, I would say, GNH is a more holistic approach to development. So we have four pillars for GNH: good governance, sustainable socio-economic development, preservation and promotion of culture, and environmental conservation. So these four pillars, they're always accounted when we're discussing about development. So we know that it improves quality of life, culture and environment is preserved, and well-being is looked after. So this is what we care about the most. So every time a country, the parliament is making an executive decision, all of these are taken into account, whether it affects people's well-being, if it's good for the country. Everything is taken account, and then only a decision is made. So I feel like I would explain GNH in that manner.
All right. I think what I understand and the key takeaway is that GNH focuses on overall psychology, overall well-being of life, considering whether everybody gets the proper quality of water, sunlight, and there's also environmental conservation involved here. So when we talk about environmental conservation, here's a fact that would genuinely blow people's minds, which is Bhutan is widely recognized as the world's only consistently carbon negative country, meaning it absorbs more carbon dioxide than it emits each year. For someone hearing it for the first time, Can you explain what that actually means and how Bhutan manages to do this?
So I would say, Bhutan, as you have said before, it absorbs more carbon dioxide than it actually produces, and it is possible because of all the trees and all the forests we have. So, I don't know how to show it, but I think I want to, can I flip the camera? Is it fine if I show my environment?
Sure.
So I live in a pretty urban area, but even if it's urban, we can see so many trees here, and these trees, these forests, they act as natural. Oh, so sorry, I forgot to turn my camera. That Okay. So these trees, they act as natural air humidifiers. So they absorb carbon dioxide and they release oxygen. So this is how climate change is being reduced. It's being handled that way, and I think Bhutan, helps maintain it because in the constitution, if I'm not wrong, in Article 5, it is mentioned that 60% of the land should be under forest coverage, and because of that, we're able to maintain such beautiful greenery. And we also place importance on hydropower. We use water to generate electricity in Bhutan, and uh, these when we are talking about environmental conservation, it's not a separate topic. Rather, it's a developmental philosophy. Every time we do something for the country, uh, we are hosting something in the country. We always put into account, uh, whether it will affect the uh, environment or not. So I feel like this is how I would explain, and this is how Bhutan manages being under 60% forest coverage. And it's all because of our visionary fourth king, as I mentioned before.
Thank you for those insights, Kenzing. I think what I understand is there are, a lot of tree plantation initiatives, and also, as you've mentioned, that minimum 60% is assigned to, be the forest land forever, and also, it's what I understand is mostly it is self-sustainable, right? And Bhutan has it written into its constitution, in fact, that a minimum of 60% of its land must stay forested forever. That is like such a powerful commitment. Where does that, value come from in Bhutanese culture, and how does the country actually protect it in practice?
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for your question again. So, in Bhutan, most are Buddhist. I'm not saying all are Buddhist, but most people are Buddhist. And in Buddhism, actually, Buddha's teaching says that nature should be respected. And in Bhutan, we have several sacred places and sites called as nes, and we go there, we worship them. And I think it is one factor why we can protect our environment. And next thing is Buddha also has taught us to have compassion for all. So, every time we're thinking of, disturbing the forest, disturbing the environment, we have to take into account what will happen to the animals, what will happen to the trees, because everything has a life, is what we believe. So I think um, this is where our values come from, and in practice, regarding how we practice it, as I mentioned before, it is written in the Constitution in Article 5 that we should have 60% forest coverage. And we also have so many natural parks. We have Jimidoji National Park, and uh, we have so many protected areas where you aren't allowed to cut trees, you aren't allowed to poaching is not allowed, you aren't allowed to cut down the trees and all. And we have such policies put into place to protect these animals and to protect the environment that makes this all possible.
Right. So I think what I assume is it mainly comes from a culture of respect not just to human beings but to all parts of nature, including trees. And also when it comes to policy, I think the policy of Bhutan also gives a lot of importance to preservation and all that. So and as you've mentioned, the compassion for every aspect of nature. Now, considering that, as well as something that it could relate to happiness, so GNH is like a term that is used, and it is a multi-dimensional framework with 9 domains, including psychological well-being, cultural resilience, and ecological diversity. Which one do you think the rest of the world is most dangerously ignoring right now when it comes to gross national happiness?
Um, so I think the world is dangerously ignoring psychological well-being, because we are in a world, we are connected digitally, we are all connected digitally, but we still feel isolated, we feel pressured, we feel stressed. And I think it's mainly due to the fact that we have internet, we have all these social media posts, where we compare ourselves to them. People feel pressured to reach to a certain level. They compare themselves to all the people who are at their age, who are achieving much greater things. And while economic growth is important, what is the use of economic growth if the person is not happy? So I feel that is being dangerously ignored. So I think we should put more effort into um, improving health, mental health care for people. We should focus on giving uh, lessons as to how to be like more happier, how to look after yourself more better. So I feel that is being dangerously ignored.
I agree 100%. And even in our project, when we, look at, we've also focused, one major aspect of ours is also, psychological aspect, wherein we call experts who are psychologists, psychotherapists, and try to offer sessions. And everything of it mostly remains confidential. We also have something called Lifeline Project, wherein there are people who listen to, youth or anybody undergoing any kind of mental health challenge with a lot of compassion and without any judgment. And we also have something called Mana, where we come connect together in silence, and it's like a mental detox for us. So I think I agree with you 100% that a psychological well-being is something that mainly is ignored right now because of a lot of digital, digital things. And we also feel, even though we are connected digitally, we may feel isolated, and there's a lot of comparison going on. So in fact, in spite of all the economic growth that happens, there's also a decline in the psychological well-being, if you take a look at it that way. So if you could take just one principle from gross national happiness, let's say, and embed it into a global youth policy right now, what would it be and why?
Um, the JNH has so many, great policies. Hey, firstly, I would like to thank, for so many initiatives you all are doing. And it's really inspiring to hear such great things and amazing things you're doing. And I think, I can learn so many things from you all. So thank you so much for what you're doing. And regarding the question, I think one policy youth policies should have is development should serve human well-being and not the other way around. I think these days, no, policies are all focused on improving productivity, having more economic output, but they don't take into account how it will affect one individual. So rather than that, as I mentioned before, people should, government especially, they should focus these youth policies on mental well-being. They should provide more facilities, more workshops on how to treat yourself better, be a better human being. So I feel like yes, these should be taken into account from GNH.
Definitely. Policies wherein they focus on few things that are definitely important. There should also be something related to happiness. There should also be something related to mental well-being and all those things. And similarly, we also have a project called Youth Effectiveness Movement. As you've mentioned, something related to comparison and all that. We also have this beautiful project wherein we have course modules to teach youth about how they can accept themselves, and through acceptance they can release all kinds of emotions such as comparison, competition, and all these things which may block them in fact from their reaching their highest potential. So that is one thing also we have parallelly running. And now, coming back to this, as a young Bhutanese leader speaking to youth from around the world, what is that one shift in the mindset you wish more young people would, make about what success actually means?
Hmm. Again, so many wonderful initiatives you all are, initiating. So many wonderful things you are doing for all the youth. So I'd like to thank you all. And regarding the question, I had this conversation with a taxi driver the other day, and he was complaining, oh, wherever you go in the world, you can't make enough money. People in Qatar and people in Australia, they're suffering and making money, and even they're not satisfied. And it had me reflecting. And what I realized is that we should ask ourselves not how successful we are, but how content we are. Because even if you're a millionaire, you will strive to be a like billionaire. You'll strive to be a trillionaire. You'd always strive to be better. But rather than doing that, I want all of us to ask whether we are content or not. Um, because I have a friend named Eden Lucky. She always used to say in Zonka that Rana drop in Sanowachin Rawa Drapong, Rawa Chu in Sanowachin Rawa Chuong, which means even if you think you're the best, there will always be someone better than you. And if you think you're the worst, there will always be someone worse than you. And I think, it's really true because whatever you do, no, it matters in the end of the at the end of the day, it matters if you're content or not. So rather than asking, oh, am I successful? I think we should ask ourselves, oh, am I content? Do I have meaningful relationships? Do I contribute to the community? So I think this is really important, and this is what youths have to shift their mindset to.
Right. I think what you've shared and put out beautifully is that all of us need to know how content we are, and that is directly proportional to success. And I also agree with you that greed has no end. If a person wants is a millionaire, they would prefer to achieve more and more and more, and there's no end to it, right? So I think the right way to put it out is how content we are, how much we are contributing to the society, and we feel rich from within then, right? And I also would like to appreciate you because I've understood that you and your team has taken a lot of initiatives to support the elderly who are having less no clothes or food, help them support with their medications. And I understand that you've built a wonderful network in Bhutan, so kudos to that. It's amazing and inspiring at the same time. I'd like to now probably ask, if people would like to ask any questions to you. So we'd open the floor to, questions now.
So you can either type your questions in the chat or maybe you can raise your hand. Then we will call you out. Yes, Sarupya.
Thank you so much for the information that you did provide here in this meeting till now. We are really happy to have you in our podcast. So my question to you is, what is the first thing that Bhutan is doing different to make its youth more happy and content as compared to the other countries in the world?
What is Bhutan doing to? Can you please repeat the question? I'm actually on my phone, so I can't hear properly. So sorry.
No, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'll write down the question.
Okay. My question was, so what's the thing that Bhutan is doing uniquely different to make its youth more happy and content as compared to the youth of other countries?
So, what Bhutan is actually doing is, as I mentioned before, they are always considering, people's well-being first. It is a developmental philosophy whereby, every time a decision is made, a person's well-being is taken into account. They ask people, their census survey is done, and they ask people whether people are actually happy or not, and what changes is needed to be brought to the country. So, I think this is what Bhutan is doing uniquely. They also provide, as I mentioned before, free healthcare and free education. They invest more on that side. And now, with mental health being a big problem around the whole world, even in Bhutan, our Queen Ajit Pema, she has also established the Pema whereby you can avail these facilities. So I think that is what Bhutan is doing uniquely.
Thanks, Arupya, for that question, and thank you for the wonderful answer, Kensing. Is there anyone else who would like to ask? Pallavi, you can unmute.
Hello.
Hi, Lola.
Hi. Actually, I heard that in Bhutan there are a lot of youth centers in every state. Here in India, we don't have anything like that. But what do you guys do in? What are the activities there that you guys do in those centers?
Thank you so much for your question. And thank you to Sarupia too. So sorry, I forgot to acknowledge you. Um, Basically, in youth centers, from what I've experienced, is youth centers. So it's a small hut, or it could also be a building. So there we have many different rooms allocated for many different activities. So one room, what I remember is one room we had for reading. We had a small library where we could borrow books and all. Then we had an IT room where all the computers were placed. We could either do some research, we could look at YouTube videos, we could learn. And there was also a game room where you were provided with small games. For example, we were provided with chess, checkers, and many activities during summer breaks and winter breaks were hosted there too. For example, I remember participating in a dance event, but there was also like a reading event. There was also a gaming event, chess event. So many opportunities are provided through these centers. So this is what happens in these centers.
That's really good to know. I mean, we don't have anything like that in India here.
Okay, thank you so much for your
Thank you.
question.
I think, Kenzing, when you share all this, I think we all can learn from each other, from each other's culture. So thank you for sharing this. We also have Suvita who has raised her hand. You can unmute.
Uh, Hi, Kenzing. It
Hello,
was
La.
a wonderful to hear from you. I just typed out the question too, but I'll just tell you again. So we have a lot of stigmas and taboos regarding mental health issues, and also like trying to get help for this. In India, we have quite a lot. So how is it in Bhutan? Do you guys face the same issues, or like do you have anything different about it?
I think Bhutan now has become very open-minded. I would like to put it in that way. I think people have become more used to the fact that there are mental illnesses and all. But I think way before, maybe in the early 1900s, they used to call people psycho for having mental illness. No, but now Bhutan has become quite open-minded with this. They have come to the acceptance. They have come to the fact that, oh, there is mental illnesses, and we need people to help out those people who are mentally ill. And even as I mentioned before, Ajit Jitin, our Gelsum, our queen, she has also established the pema. And there is also a toll-free number we can call. It's a, I think, suicide prevention hotline is also there. And yeah, all of these things are being done to uh, elevate people's well-beings. So yeah, I think Bhutan is pretty open-minded about the fact, and they have come to acceptance that, oh, it is a real thing. But maybe before, they were quite questionable on this matter.
Right.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Thank you for that answer. I just had one more thing to ask. Like, how is it within families? Like, are teenagers and the children being able to talk to their parents about mental health stuff?
I think it depends on the families, but personally, if I could share my personal experience, I know it's not my story to tell, but I asked my brother if it was fine. My brother, he used to be, I won't say, he was depressed, but he was uh, in the early stages of depression. And my father, he offered therapist help. He wanted my brother to be referred to a therapist. And I think they were quite open about it. My brother also came to me to talk about it. I consult him. And even in schools, so sorry, I forgot to mention that we have counselors. We have counselors who, are specially trained to talk with the students. They help students, solve their problems. And basically they counsel the students as to, how to become better and just be a better person overall. And it also, I think, helps their mental health a lot.
Thank you. Thank you for that sharing that experience. I think it makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, I
Thank
think,
you so much.
yeah, I agree to that, counseling plays a major role in a youth, in a youth perspective. If you see, we would also, want to know ourselves better through help from a counselor, or, it could be academic or it could be mental health or anything of that sort. So I think counseling also plays a very important role. So thank you for sharing. We have Jyotsna.
Yeah. Hi, Kenzang. This was really nice to hear from you. And my one question here is that what challenges do the youth of Bhutan face in preserving happiness while adopting to the globalization and the change in the technology, which is like, we are growing so much every day in our technology. So how is there any kind of challenges which comes to the youth of Bhutan, and then how do you preserve that happiness?
Regarding the challenges, oh, so sorry. I think regarding the challenges in the technological side, it's probably data issues here. I don't think data is the network. There are a lot of network connections and problems in Bhutan. So I think one that could be one problem, and another problem could be the high data charges in Bhutan. So this, I think, this is what we are fighting against right now. But other than that, I don't think Bhutan has some challenges in that sector. And regarding the question on how we preserve happiness is, as I said before, we learn how to be a good person in school days itself. So I think it plays a really big role on how you grow up and how you begin to think. So yeah, I think happiness is preserved in that way. We also tend to participate in many activities because the country holds many events for the youth to keep them engaged. So yeah, I feel like that is how we preserve happiness.
Yeah, I just wanted to know about one more thing about this, because few months back I traveled to Bhutan, and even yes, I definitely saw the school children getting engaged, and like no, even I like the one idea of I think kindergarten or maybe the preparatory classes children were in engaged in doing gardening. Like no, there always I think there's a competition in the school held, so that the group of children who maintain the garden very well, they are being they are being awarded for that. So maybe to keep that thing, yes, the few activities even I liked it. But I just wanted to know that there's one more thing which I got to know during my visit to Bhutan, that the youth children, the especially the children, those who do good in their studies, the Bhutan government takes the initiative to send them outside for their further studies. Is that true? And then what about like this? And then again, here the question is that globally we are growing so much in our technology. So how Bhutan is like no kind of um, uh, uh, in the like no how they are able to catch up with that. That is what my point was.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for visiting our country. I hope you enjoyed your stay here.
Yes, yes, it was a wonderful trip. I
Thanks
really
so
loved
much
it.
for coming here. We're very
Yeah.
honored to have you. With that, as you mentioned, no, people who are good in studies, whether they get scholarships or not. And regarding that, I think I'm a prime example of that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm the best in studies, but I have gotten an opportunity to study outside in Bangladesh for my MBBS studies. So yes, children do get scholarships if you're performing well. It's merit based, and it's not only merit based. The government also takes into consideration whether you are participating in other activities, co-curricular activities, whether you're a good person or not. So that also comes into account when people are giving these scholarships. And there are also scholarships for this disadvantaged youth. So people who cannot afford to study outside, they're actually given kidu. They are given money from the king himself, from Aziz too, so that they can continue their studies. And you also asked how Bhutan is able to catch up with the trends, with the global trends outside.
Yes,
And I
yes.
think regarding that, Bhutan. In my school, I studied in Ugin Academy. So in my school, we were allowed to bring phones. We were allowed to search up information online, and we were allowed to use our phone during our studies. So I think that is one way how Bhutan is able to catch up with other countries. And we also have many workshops. So sorry, I keep on giving on examples, but I attended one GovTech hosted um, program, and it was digital skilling program where we learned how to we learned basic functions of Excel and all. And I think these workshops also help us in catching up to the world. And yeah, I think scholarships too, they're sent abroad to study. They bring cultures from abroad into Bhutan, so that is how we are able to catch up in the global trends.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much
Thank
for your
you. Thank
question.
you.
Thank you, Kensing. It's interesting to know that phones are allowed in the schools, and I completely agree that it's not through control, but it is through regulating. And also, what you've mentioned is holistic accountability, wherein students are not supposed to be focusing entirely and only on academia, but also on how good the person is, how good we are as a person. So that was really interesting. We also have Hetal here who has typed her question. I'll just read it out for you. First, she thanks so much for this session and she was really happy to know so many things about Bhutan and its culture. She says, how can other countries practically adapt this model of GNH?
Um, Thank you so much for your question. So, regarding how another country can adopt our policy on GNH is, firstly, I think the country should, invest more onto education and healthcare, and they should, prioritize kids' education from, beginning itself, from the grassroots itself. So, I think one way it could be that, and I think a country should always focus on a person's well-being. I think surveys should be conducted. People should be asked whether they're truly happy or not. So I think that is how a country can adopt GNH. And yeah, basically, just prioritizing a person's well-being is the most important thing here in GNH.
It's amazing that Kenzing, the Bhutanese government has put in so much effort, and it has in fact made it like a metric, right, through its policy. And as you've mentioned, investing more on free education, free healthcare, that also in a way leads to more happiness and more well-being. And I think all the countries around the world have a lot to learn from Bhutan. So thank you. And also, thank you for sharing your insights on gross national happiness, Bhutan's environmental commitments. We got to learn a lot from it, and also youth leadership. And also thank you for answering our audience's questions with a lot of patience. One final ask is there any other question? Is there anybody who would like to ask? I'd also like to ask Mohanish if he has something to share.
First of all, I would like to congratulate Kenzing uh, for getting an opportunity to study outside Bhutan. And you really inspired us by sharing the ways the Bhutanese youth and Bhutanese government are working for the well-being holistically, not just having profits. So we also got an opportunity to interact with many youth a few days back from Bhutan, and we really admired their way of thinking, their nature, their compassionate nature, and their enthusiasm regarding activities. And I can see that has been being developed from childhood in Bhutan with these youth centers, with ethic classes. So thank you so much for taking out time for us today, Kenzing.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a wonderful opportunity to be able to speak in front of all of you. With all the work you're doing, you have been continuously inspiring me, and you also sent me a brochure, no? So I was really inspired by how many people you are actually able to reach. And for us, it might seem like a far dream now, for Bhutan Youth Summit to do the same. But I really hope from you all, we have taken the motivation, the inspiration to develop ourselves too, so that we can reach, if not up to a level, at least near it.
Definitely, and we would like to help you out with that. Our main aim is to inspire youth around the world to become more stable, and initiatives like Bhutan Youth Summit give up a platform to express their opinions. So definitely, we would like to help you out, and in any way that we can.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kenzing, and we wish you all the very best from the whole team of MYC. I'm
Thank you.
sure that, after listening to you today, our audience also felt very motivated to take up more opportunities in this area. And we also would like to, look forward to more collaborative effort in the future. And you can reach out to us anytime you need help with, an international community or of any sort. And thank you everybody for listening to us today and joining in. Until next time, take care, stay alert, aware, and active. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful having you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.